हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद प्रभुपद, जय प्रभुपद, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की, गौर प्रेमानंदी समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्, नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवतेरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी। श्रीमद् भागवतम सेकंड कैंटो चैप्टर सेकंड, टेक्स्ट नंबर 18। नार्थो बलेर अयम उरुक्रम पाद शौचम आपः शिखा धृतवतो विवुधाधिपत्यम यो वै प्रतिश्रुतम ऋते न चिकीर्षद अन्यद आत्मानं अंग मनसा हरये अभिमेने नार्थो बलेरयम् उरुक्रमपादशौचम् नार्थो बलेरयम् उरुक्रमपादशौचम् आपशिका धृतव्रतो विबुधाधिपत्यम् आपः शिखा धृतव्रतो विबुधाधिपत्यम् यो वै प्रतिश्रुतं ऋते न चिकीर्षदन्यम् यो वै प्रतिश्रुतं ऋते न चिकीर्षदन्यद् आत्मानमंगम मनसा हरयेभिमेने आत्मानमंग मनसा हरयेभिमेने नार्थो बलेरयम् उरुक्रमपादशौचम् नार्थो बलेरयम् उरुक्रमपादशौचम् आपः शिखा धृतव्रतो विबुधाधिपत्यम् यो वै प्रतिश्रुतं ऋते न चिकीर्षदन्यद् आत्मानमंगम मनसा हरयेभिमेने नार्थो बलेरयम् उरुक्रमपादशौचम् आपः शिखा धृतव्रतो विबुधाधिपत्यम् यो वै प्रतिश्रुतं ऋते न चिकीर्षदन्यद् आत्मानमंगम मनसा हरयेभिमेने माताजी Word to word meaning? No, never. Artha of any value in comparison with. Balehe of strength. I am this. Urukrama pada shaucham. The water washed from the feet of the personality of Godhead. Apaha, water. Shikha dhrutavatah, of one who has kept it on his head. Vibudha adhipatyam, supremacy over the kingdom of the demigods. Yaha, one who, why, certainly. Pratishrutam, what was duly promised. Rutena, besides that. Chikirshat, tried for. Anya, anything else. Atmanam, even his personal body. Anga, O Narada. Manasa, within his mind. Haraye, unto the Supreme Lord. Abhimene, dedicated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bali Maharaj, who put on his head the water washed from the lotus feet of the Lord, did not think of anything besides his promise, in spite of being forbidden by his spiritual master. The king dedicated his own personal body to fulfill the measurement of Lord's third step. For such a personality, even the kingdom of heaven, which he conquered by his strength, was of no value. Purport. Bali Maharaj, by gaining the transcendental favor of the Lord in exchange for his great material sacrifice, was able to have a place in Vaikuntha Lok with equal or greater facilities of eternal enjoyment. Therefore, he was not at all the loser by sacrificing the kingdom of heaven, which he had possessed by his material strength. In other words, when the Lord snatches away one's hard-earned material possessions and favors one with his personal transcendental service of eternal life, bliss, and knowledge, such taking away by the Lord should be considered a special favor upon such a pure devotee. Material possessions, however alluring they may be, cannot be permanent possessions. Therefore, one has to voluntarily give up such possessions, or one has to leave such possessions at the time of quitting this material body. The sane man knows that all material possessions are temporary, and that the best use of such possessions is to exchange them in the service of the Lord, so that the Lord may be pleased with him and award him a permanent place in his Param Dham. In Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Shlok 5 and 6, the Param Dham of the Lord is described as follows. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandair vimukta sukha dukkha sangair gachanti amudha padam avyayam tat न तद भाषते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. One who possesses more in the material world, in the shape of house, land, children, society, friendship, and wealth, possesses these things only for the time being. Sorry. One cannot possess all this illusory paraphernalia created by Maya permanently. Such a possessor is more illusion in the matter of his self-realization. Therefore, one should possess less or nothing so that one may be free from artificial prestige. We are contaminated in the material world by association with the three modes of material nature. Therefore, the more one spiritually advances by devotional service to the Lord in exchange for his temporary possessions, the more one is freed from the attachment of material illusion. To achieve this stage of life, one must be firmly convinced about spiritual existence and its permanent effects. To know exactly the permanency of spiritual existence, one must voluntarily practice possessing less or only the minimum to maintain one's material existence without difficulty. One should not create artificial needs that will help one to one be satisfied with the minimum. Artificial needs of life are activities of the senses. The modern advancement of civilization is based on these activities of the senses, or in other words, it is a civilization of sense gratification. Perfect civilization is the civilization of Atma or the soul proper. The civilized man of sense gratification is on an equal level with animals because animals cannot go beyond the activities of the senses. Above the senses is the mind. The civilization of mental speculation is also not the perfect stage of life because above the mind is the intelligence. And Bhagavad Gita gives us information of the intellectual civilization. The Vedic literature give different directions for the human civilization, including the civilization of the senses, the mind, the intelligence, and of the soul proper. The Bhagavad Gita primarily deals with the intelligence of man, leading one to the progressive path of civilization or the spirit soul, civilization of the spirit soul. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the complete human civilization dealing with the subject matter of the soul proper. As soon as a man is raised to the status of the civilization of the soul, he is fit to be promoted to the kingdom of God, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as per the above verses. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tvishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming for this Srimad Bhagavatam morning class today. So, this chapter is entitled Scheduled Incarnations. So, many incarnations will be discussed. Right now, Vaman Dev's incarnation of his specifically giving mercy to Bali Maharaj is been discussed. Yesterday, His Grace Balaram Shakti Prabhu very nicely discussed many aspects of the pastime. And he told maybe the pastime will be continued further. Actually, today I read only half the purport of this shloka. So tomorrow again we will do the same shloka, some remaining purport is there. So maybe His Grace Guru Gaurang Prabhu tomorrow will continue with the pastime. I hope so, I don't know. But today we'll discuss some philosophical and practical aspects of some parts of this purport. Basically, I will be focusing more on these 2 points over here. One is in this para 2. Okay, first the mentality is combined mentality of Bali Maharaj, which is mentioned in the para 1 of the purport. For Bali Maharaj, nothing was of value compared to his promise to the Supreme Lord, his devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Even the kingdom which he has earned by his hard work, by strength, the kingdom of heaven was of, like Dhruv Maharaj, he says, Kanchan Vichinnam Api Divya Ratnam. Even the kingdom of the whole universe is of no value. So this mentality, I will be discussing somewhat. Even second paragraph, the line begins, with material possessions, however alluring they may be, cannot be permanent possessions. And therefore one has to voluntarily give up such possessions. So this part, that as a devotee, also we have to learn to give up material possessions. So what does it mean? And third, another part which I will be taking is of the next purport. Yeah, in the third paragraph, summarizing the whole paragraph which I read, that the human civilization has to progress from the level of the body to the mind, to the intelligence, and to the soul. So I'll be taking a combination of all these points today with respect to purport, rather than discussing much about Bali Maharaj's pastime. And if time permits, before we end, I'll be trying to understand all these points combined from a very, very, I would say, not advanced, he's a perfected soul, but from his character and pastimes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's a very highly advanced soul, but he had performed those pastimes in a unique way in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we'll try to discuss that and understand his today's shloka. So yes, for Bali Maharaj, the time of test has come. We all will get that. We may not be Bali Maharaj, having conquered the kingdom of heaven. Wonderful, thank you. But we all have conquered something in our life. It can be wealth, it can be position, it can be skills, it can be power, it can be fame. We all have. Even in devotional life, we are famous as a very good singer or speaker or lecturer or mudanga player or collector or book distributor. All these things, they are wonderful if we are not attached to them from the material point of view, like pride, position. These are wonderful things, but they may not be so wonderful if we are attached to the position, like I am a good singer. And Bhakti is tested very subtly. Bhakti is a very subtle thing. Suppose I am a good speaker. and I don't get a chance to speak for months together, and if I feel, hey, why I'm not getting a chance to speak, then we can say I am certainly attached to my qualification of being a speaker. Same thing about singer or whatever it may be. Hmm. So these things are wonderful if we can use them, if uh, we can use them purely in Krishna's service. Such things need not be given up, but we have to learn to use them purely in Krishna's service. That is the crux. Hmm. See, we all will have something. We have a body. Once we have a body, we'll have something with the body with us. Some qualification, some skill, something. We cannot give that up. Even if we give up the body, we'll have the mind and the soul, and we'll have something with us. We cannot give that up. But what we have to give up is to keep those things impurely. With the impurely means these things are mine. They are my qualifications. I am identifying with those qualifications. I have money, I give donation. Identifying with that. We see in spiritual practices, there are people who are virtually like singers like Swargaloka, Gandharvas. They can be a pure devotee, that they may not be pure devotees, depends on their mentality. There are some devotees who are fabulously rich. We cannot imagine, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita and other places. They can be pure or not pure. So, material possessions might be given up or might not be given up. But what has to be given up is the impurity of possessing them. That is, they belong to me. I have achieved them. Identifying ourselves with those things. And it can lead to many other things like pride, competition, envy, if we start identifying with those things. So and we all will be tested. Bali Maharaj is like the moment of test, final test. Whether you are attached to your kingdom of heaven, which you are conquered with your own strength, which you are achieved. The whole world knows it. You are famous for that. The world identifies you with that. We all make identity. This Prabhuji identify with something. Are you willing to give that up? Bali Maharaj has that test. And just surrender completely to God. And Krishna makes the test more severe. When your spiritual master Shukracharya has told you to act against what you should be doing. It's not only you have to do X, A or B. You have to do A, but the circumstance has been made in such a way that your spiritual master has told you to do B. And still you have to do A. Materially, attachments are on the side of the B. Your heaven and everything. So this is a complete test for Bali Maharaj. And all of us will also face a test of severe magnitude, different circumstances. Because we are not Bali Maharaj. We are not earned the kingdom of heaven, but we have earned something by staying in Krishna consciousness for quite some years, or even few months. We earned some possession materially, spiritually. So this test will be there. I'll be taking more such examples. Sometimes the scriptural injunctions will be against what you are supposed to do for spiritual progress. Here one of the injunctions was following his spiritual master. That was against what you are supposed to do. Your attachments are against what you are supposed to do. Gross attachments, subtle attachments. So all these tests of a similar severity and nature will be coming to us. Only thing, they will be of different circumstances. Bali Maharaj is his circumstance. Someone else will be having some different circumstance. And it's just what decision we take. So, Krishna consciousness, whatever practice we have done will be put to test. In fact, now and then, Krishna puts us to test in Krishna consciousness. Every day. And if we fail, we will continue, but we fail. If we pass, a more higher test will come. till such a test like Bali Maharaj has come. Hmm. So either way it's good. If we fail, we continue. And if we pass, uh, once you passed in 10th, you give the 10th test again. Now you do 12th. Then graduation, then PG and PhD and whatever it may be. So once we pass some test, we'll progress further. We'll be getting a severe test. Hmm. So the main point which beginning purport is telling, one should be possessing only for the sake of the maintenance of the body and not for pleasure. Hmm. One should try to possess less or nothing. In this purport it is said, one should try to possess less of nothing. Now, which will be answering this question little time later, Bali Maharaj, yes, we agree, he sacrificed everything. But before that, he was having the practically the whole universe, not whole universe, but till Sargaloka, not the higher planets. Still, it's a big area. So, till that moment of sacrificing to Vaman Dev, he was having everything. He was not that he has given up, renounced, and then he sacrificed. So how to understand that? We see Bali Maharaj, not only he was possessing heavenly kingdom, he had conquered it. Not that he was sitting and it came in his inheritance. That is one thing. We get some wealth, possession, bungalow, properties, inheritance. Here he had conquered it and then he was possessing it and he was ruling it. So how to understand Bali Maharaj was detached from it? These are the times of test. The detachment is when the time is there, you give up without any difficulty. People are telling, don't give up. Your spiritual guide is telling, don't give up. But the spiritual life, it has to be given up. You give up. Same things happen. See, different, another point which I would like to make today is Krishna consciousness perfection is not a stereotype thing. Like in the 10th standard is a stereotype. There's a question paper and answers have to be particularly like that. Then only we'll get the right marks or more marks, correct marks. The 12th standard also more or less is like that. As you grow further, like you go towards projects and thesis and whatever it may be to the PhD, the things can be diversified. May not be only, like not that a PhD has to be exactly like this. No, it can be here, there, something like that. So similarly, one has to, today we'll learn that Krishna consciousness perfection can be in millions of types of varieties. PhDs can be in millions of types. But 10th answer has to be only one type, monotype. So sometimes we make this immature, we think immaturely that Krishna conscious perfection has to be only like, suppose as per today's shloka, one has to give up all material possessions. So those who have possessions, they cannot perfect Krishna consciousness. But we saw Bali Maharaj gave up, agreed. But till that moment, he had all the possessions. So is it that he became perfect in that 1 second? No. He was already perfect. In that 1 second, his perfection was tested and proven. Not that 1 second he became perfect. Because to become perfect is not that easy to become in 1 second. The PhD is not that easy. 1 second we become. You make PhD for years together and then that final interview, presentation or I don't know what they call it. That is, what do you call it? That PhD final? Yeah? Yeah, what? I don't know. I am not PhD. Sorry. That is the check. But not that. You don't do anything. And you go for that final thing and you become PhD. No, you have to work. So we see Bali Maharaj, yes, in that test, he gave up all the possessions. But to give up that possessions is not possible if you are not ready for it. For that, he was on that level anyway. He was on that level anyway. It was proven and tested at that moment. That's the whole thing. But he was on that level. So even though Bali Maharaj was possessing everything, he was on the level of not possessing everything, which was tested. So therefore, we have to have a very bright, not bright, what do you call it, wide. We should understand perfection in Krishna consciousness is externally very wide. Internally, we have to be free from possessions. But externally, someone can be like Bali Maharaj. Like I was thinking, someone can be, and it's not that Bali Maharaj was wonderful king and Vaman Dev came and tested him. That is one way, perfection. One way can be Maharaj Parikshit being cursed to die in 7 days. That can be a way of perfection. One way can be nothing. Pandavas retire timely. Pandavas are there, they are ruling the kingdom, everything is wonderful, fine, no curse, no test, no Vamandev situation. They just retire timely, hand over the kingdom to Maharaj Parikshit, go to not heaven, what do you call it, Himalayas, and perfect their life. So for some it can be a gradual, simple thing like Pandavas. For some it can be Maharaj Parikshit, someone cursing him. For some it can be Maharaj Bali Maharaj. It can be many other ways. There is no stereotype situation or perfection, external situation for perfection in spiritual practice. It can be unlimited circumstances. And what mistake we do is generally we at immature level think that perfection in spiritual life has to be monotype or stereotype. With this way only a devotee can perfect. No. There can be unlimited ways. Not there can be, there are. If you see the scriptures, Priyavrata Maharaj, he became the king. He was brahmachari for millions of years. Then it's a big pastime why he got married and ruled the kingdom for millions of years with a beautiful wife and children. And without any such circumstances, he detached himself from the kingdom and he perfected his life. So it can be brahmacharya ashram for millions of years, then grihastha ashram with a beautiful wife. And it is said that Priyavrata Maharaj was somewhat attached with his family and children and kingdom. But just because he was in Krishna consciousness since childhood, Krishna protected him. So there was no Maharaj Parikshit cursing in the life of Priyavrata Maharaj, or neither Vamandev coming and taking away his kingdom. And neither he retired timely and went to Himalayas. He was just, and Krishna, and he left his body in pure Krishna consciousness. So pure Krishna consciousness is common. But how that pure Krishna consciousness manifests is of unlimited varieties. One is Bali Maharaj variety. He is fabulously rich and it can appear that he is attached. He earned the kingdom by fighting for it. If you are not attached, why you will fight? You are fighting for something and getting it and ruling it. These are all the symptoms of being an attached person. These are all the symptoms of being an attached person. But Bali Maharaj was not. And therefore, we have to understand that shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vaishnava kriya mudra vidnena bhujai. It's very difficult. And if we see Chaitanya Charitamrita, different personalities perfecting their life differently. Gadadhar Pandit, just what we call it, Kshetra Sannyas. Maharaj Pratap Rudra, ruling the kingdom. He was perfect devotee. And today I will be discussing the person of Pundrik Vidyanidhi. Anyway, he is a perfected devotee only, Vrishabhanu Maharaj, but still. So we see, yeah, for Vidura, it was an insult to get out of kingdom only with clothes. So, I won't give more examples, but the point is, external situations will vary. The litmus test will be the same internally. that are we possessive of our possessions? As it is said, even a beggar is proud of his penny. So this is internal. Beggar can be a proud of his penny and attached to his penny. And sometimes it's difficult. Actually, it's difficult for a beggar to be detached from his penny, and also difficult for a millionaire to be detached from his millions. Huh? See, your karma has given you penny or millions. Detachment is to be achieved by spiritual practice. Huh? Your karma has given you penny or millions or somewhere in between. But detachment has, so whether you have millions, will be attached by default in the material world. And even if we possess only a penny, will be attached by default in the material world. That default has to be changed. Our karma, we may be millionaire, we may be penny, what do you call it? Penny owner, or somewhere in between. Most of us are somewhere in between. But we have, so how that, whether you are detached, how that will be checked, will be in a unique way, suitable for all of us. That Krishna will decide. How will be checked? Apparently, sometimes we'll see this, like we'll be discussing the story of Pundrik Vidyanidhi. When he came to Mayapur from his town of, I forgot his, Chitgaon, Chhatragaon. He was having a second home. He was having a third home. Where is the point of having less possessions? The second home concept is not new. Nowadays we have second home in Lonavala or, yeah, but second home can be in there to advance us spiritually. Pundrik Vidyanidhi had a second home in Mayapur to be close to Lord Chaitanya. He did not have a second home in Darjeeling. He was in Bengal. So he did not take a second home in Darjeeling or some Sundarbans. Like today's people have second homes in such places. Mahabaleshwar or Panchgani, like that. Whatever. We can have second homes in Pandharpur, Nashik, or all such things. So second home concept is not new. At least it is there at the time of Lord Chaitanya. Maybe before that also. So he had a second home in Mayapur. It was like a palace with all the highest class furnishings of gold and everything, because he was a big landlord. And externally seeing him was very difficult to understand that he is an advanced devotee or a pure devotee. And even a devotee like Mukunda did that mistake of misunderstanding him. So how much we have to be careful when we look at the externals of a devotee. We should not judge a devotee just because, or misjudge a devotee rather than judge a devotee. Actually, as per the Jesus Christ, we should not try to judge others. We should judge only ourselves. Radhanath Maharaj quotes this quotation of Jesus Christ few times. He says, don't try to judge, lest you will be judged. Better avoid judging. Judgmental. This judging is a mental. If we start judging, we'll become mental. You know what is that mental? Mentally sick person. So it's difficult. From this pastimes, you should learn. Even a great devotee like Mukund could do that mistake of judging Pundrik Vidyanidhi based on his externals of opulences. And he was having a doubt. And then Gadadhar Pandit sang the shloka of Bhagavatam, glorifying Krishna's mercy to Putana. And then Pundrik Vidyanidhi entered the stage of trance, which was again beyond understanding capacity of Mukund. And he could understand, sorry, I might reverse the percentage. Gadadhar Pandit did the mistake of judging Pundrik Vidyanidhi. Correct, no? Yeah, sorry. By speaking in the flow, Gadadhar Pandit did that mistake of judging Pundrik Vidyanidhi, and Mukund sang the shloka. Barabar, no? Yes, Mukund sang the shloka. But we are not discussing the personalities exactly here. We are discussing the attitudes and the mentality. But anyway, we should be correct in that details also. So Gadadhar Pandit did that mistake of misjudging. So who is Gadadhar Pandit? This is also today's point. He is one of the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar. And we may think, oh, Gadadhar Pandit, Panchatattva person, did a mistake of misjudging another devotee. What I am going to tell at the end of the lecture, I will tell right now. Pundarik Vidyanidhi did the same mistake of misjudging someone else later in his life. So what we learn? That we can also misjudge others? No. We learn sometimes great devotees can do mistakes, still their greatness doesn't decrease. What we do in material world is when we see some great devotees doing mistakes, we bring them down. Here, Gadadhar Pandit, who is one of the members of Panchatattva, misjudged Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And who is Pundarik Vidyanidhi? He is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, father of Radharani, did the same mistake when he went to Jagannath Puri of misjudging the Pandas of Jagannath. Why? Because they were putting up the starch clothes. Hari bol, what's happening? I am getting chakkar. If Gadadhar Pandit and Pundarik Vidyanidhi can misjudge, then how can still we should not misjudge? They are teaching us the lessons. What I learn from this, sometimes, occasionally, for whatever reasons beyond our understanding, some great devotees might externally do a mistake. It's not our duty to misjudge them. That is between them and the Supreme Lord. Another point, even after that, they remain great. So not that even after mistakes, we also remain great. No, that's for they remain great. For us, we should come on, we call it, Marathit, काय पाय जमिनीवर ठेवा. English also is the same. Be grounded. So we should remain grounded. We should not utilize this angle for us. So anyway, we move ahead. So this opportunity will come in everyone's life when Lord will snatch away everything from you. Parikshit Maharaj, it came. Pandavas, it came in the form of old age. Time was over. They left and went to Himalayas. Bali Maharaj, it came in the form of Lord himself begging. It will come to you in some form. At that litmus test, what do? You keep holding it to it, or you understand that it's a Lord test and you give up. That is the litmus test which everyone will be getting in life. You may say, okay, that will happen at the end of life. It may, but no, also it will happen in practice sessions. You know practice sessions? So now at this age, some of you are maybe students, they may think, oh, how are we supposed to give up everything? May not be, but start practicing. Net practice. The final test will come maybe after a few years. But that final test, similar net practice tests are coming to your lives right now. Our Balram Shakti is also PhD, our Vinit sir is also PhD. While before that perfect final PhD thesis presentation, regularly you have to go and do some submissions, I assume. And they are also checked. So in our life also, this practice session checks will come right now. We have to be careful. And if we fail, it's okay. It's okay in the sense we can still continue. And if we pass, that's wonderful. Be patient. Utsat nishchayat dhairyat. So be patient. So when the situations comes, when Lord is presenting us in a situation where He's going to snatch away everything, it's our responsibility to pass the test. Not hold on to it. Lord will give the test as per your situation. We heard it can be a variety of types as per your situation. And when that happens, that is nothing but as mentioned in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, a special test, a special favor. Srila Prabhupada's life, it came in the form of vulgarity at his business at Prayag. He lost everything. And then he was smiling. Let me pass the test. You may not, I don't have a business. So I may not face the test of vulgarity at my business place. It may be something different. It may be something different. But the test will come. The test will come. That litmus test will come. And if we pass, then that's like you just you are opened up to a vast treasure of a special favor of Krishna. And that is the real favor of Krishna, which all of us has to pass today or tomorrow. It has to happen. If we fail, we'll get the repeat test. If we fail, we'll get the repeat test. I heard since few years back in Mumbai University, they have become a little strict. They say that to become a degree, B.Tech, you have to finish in 8 years. It is a rule, Mumbai University. If you can't finish in 8 years, you get a certificate that please you are not fit for becoming BE. But when I was studying in 1990s, it was not like that. Mumbai University was merciful. And I knew some people who were in the engineering college for 16, 17 years. In our hostels, they were like the big boss. When I was there was one person who was already 10 years in third year. And one of my batchmates, I went to hostel for preaching 16 years after I joined the college. He said, "हाँ कैसे है रे?" तुम कैसे? हाँ अभी final year चल रहा है. After 16 or 17 years. But Bombay University, Krishna is merciful. He is more merciful. He will give unlimited attempts to us. Not 8 साल में खर्चा कि नहीं खत्म भक्ति. नहीं तो you are not fit for bhakti permanently. Not that way. Like Bombay University has become. If you don't finish B.Tech in 8 years, we'll give a certificate. Please, you are not fit for B.Tech. But Krishna is not only 17 years. Krishna will wait for even 17 million births. If we keep on failing in the litmus test that will come to us. But litmus test has to be passed. To enter the treasure of vast mercy of Krishna, the litmus test has to be passed. So yes, as I said, some devotees may retire like this. Some may not retire in the end of life. And within just few seconds before life over, they can give up the possessions. I said it's a wide variety. We should not understand, oh, this devotee, he retired at 50 and then he went to Vrunda. That may be one variety of perfecting life. One variety can be, he can possess many possessions till maybe 5 seconds before death. And at that 5 seconds before, he can give up and he can go back to Godhead. And there can be something in between. Many things in between. So, but the litmus test, we cannot keep possessive mentality till the time of death. Then we have to come back to the material world. That is very clear. How we give up, when we give up, and giving up of possessive mentality has to be done, not the possessions. Possessions can be or cannot be given up. Might be or might not be given up. But the possessive mentality has to be given up. Even if you have the possessions, the possessive mentality has to be given up. That has to be done. That is, there is no other option for that. Some devotees might give up the possessions externally. Some may keep it for Krishna's service. But in either case, the possessive mentality has to be given up. Those who possess the things, they should give up the possessive mentality that I possess those things. And those who have given up the things, if they think I have given up the things and therefore I am better, then they are having the possessive mentality even after giving up the things. So whether you keep the things or you don't keep the things, what is the real matter is whether we give up the possessive mentality. So those who give up the things and have the possessive mentality, they become proud of their renunciation. That is the possessive mentality, that I have given up. No. So we see, as I already mentioned, we have some limited time. I want to analyze this story of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So I have made this point. Bali Maharaj was at crossroad and he passed it. Very difficult situation at such point. And again, some points are written. I will go through them quickly before I reach that last analysis of Pundarik Vidyanidhi's and some conclusions for us from his pastimes. We should at any point of time in our life, we should never develop this judging mentality of others, because this mentality is nothing but a manifested symptoms of our disease proud condition. Hmm? Why, if we say, oh, he is like this, we were exactly at the same place just few years or few decades back. Huh? Just because we have moved on by Krishna's mercy, we have no authority to say, oh, he is like that, he is attached, or see, he is eating so much, or see, he has relations with few women, or he is so attached to the money, or all these things. We are there. Or we are more worse than that, just few months, weeks, years, or even lives back. Not that we are very different. And mostly we might not be very different. Even currently, we might be thinking we are very different. That may be our illusion, but we might not be. So better. So, and therefore we see, I always have noted that point in Rup Goswami's Updeshamrut. What he says, one who chants, offer him obeisances mentally. One who has taken initiation, means doing steady sadhana bhakti, offering obeisances physically. And what is the qualification? Which he tells that we should serve that devotee and hanker for his association. Not that he has given up all the possessions. Anya nindadi shunya. That will be possible only when we are given up the possessive mentality, that we are given up the pride. What is that? It's possible to give up all the wealth, but not the possessive mentality. Keep the pride. When we give up all the wealth, we'll think, oh, see, I am better, he is not better, he has the wealth. That is Anya Ninda. So this Anya Nindadi Shunyam is one of the litmus tests by which we can get an idea of other devotees' advancement. Not by whether he has given up the possessions, not by, see, I was thinking, why Rup Goswami put this? Because if we want to get an idea of other devotees' advancement, not that whether he has a wife or no wife, or he has 10 wives or 10 millions or no million, or whether he has taken vanprastha, or whether he has taken sannyas externally, or he is a male or female, educated or not educated. There is some manifestation of a person's advancement can be judged from this tendency of Anya Nindadi Shunya. Because that is very difficult to be manifested without the internal manifestation. And other things can be manifested without internal. Somebody can give up millions of rupees without actually internally manifesting the required qualities. But this Anya Nindadi Shunya is almost difficult or very, very difficult to manifest without developing the necessary internal qualification. And therefore, Rup Goswami, so this criticizing others, judging others is nothing but a form of Anya Ninda. And that we have to be careful of. I am speaking all these things because these are material possessions. You may be thinking, why I am speaking of all these things? Because you have to give up material possessions. One material possessions which as per the purport, as per the purport we have to give up all material possessions, but generally material possessions which we think are of wealth, clothes, car, house, that has to be given up. In one way, at least possessive mentality has given up. But whether we give up or that or don't give up, if we possess these subtle material possessions, then that's very difficult. These also are material possessions. The tendency to do Anya Ninda is a material possession. It's a subtle material possession. It's not a gross material possession. That has to be given up. So, just one example. Sorry, I'll just take 2-3 minutes. Balaram Shakti Prabhu has set an example to end the class on time, even though he wants to speak something. But I'll set an example to end 5 minutes late. Sorry for that. So anyway, just like it is not stereotype. There are many types of sports. 100 meter, 200 meter, 800 meter, 400 meter, 1500 meter, 2 kilometer, and then marathon. Winner is a winner in all the sports. Swimming, boxing, whatever it may be. Similarly, in Bhakti, winner is a winner who gets the opportunity to face the litmus test and pass it. But that litmus test can come in the form of either 100 meters, 200 meters, 500 meters, marathon, hurdle, and what is that? You pass on some baton to someone else. relay, whatever it may be. Winner is a winner. We don't say winner in relay is only winner. No, winner is a winner. So don't keep perfection criteria in a very 100 meters race only. No, winner is a winner. In all the types. So, so again, devotees' external behavior can be very confusing. One more example. We have heard we have to be humble. And generally we think humble means, yes, externally we have to be humble. But basically, I taken the example, Hanumanji. He is certainly very humble. He is the perfect devotee. But when we see him fighting the Ramayana war, we'll be confused. He is killing thousands, hitting them with the fist, making them bloodied. And you think, how can someone be humble like this? Don't misjudge. अगर आपको समझ में आता है तो समझो, नहीं आता है तो छोड़ दो ऑप्शन में. Don't try to attempt which you should leave in option. It is like IIT, JEE or GATE. Negative marking है. तो नहीं जमता है उसमें मत जाओ. Positive marking पकड़ते जाओ. So Hanumanji can, how, for me also it's still confusing. I am not able to understand. He is killing thousands, even though he is fighting on the war side of the war of dharma, beating them with fist, making their nose bloody, daat फेंक रहा है, Bhim removing the heart and playing catch with the heart of Dushashan, कलेजा को catch कर. How can someone be humble doing all these things? But they are. नहीं समझते तो छोड़ दो. जब समझेगा तब समझेगा. अभी तो छोड़ दो. But they are humble. So don't go on the externals. We require. So now I end up with this Pundrik Vidyanidhi. Those who know the pastimes, I will mention 3 pastimes. One, I already mentioned, he was so opulent and Gadadhar Pandit misjudged him and Mukund. Then his pure devotion was manifest. After that, Lord Chaitanya glorified him as Pita because he is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, a father of Radharani. And after that, he misjudged the Pandas of Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath and Baldev gave him good thrashings. बराबर ना? गाल सूझ गया था. So, a pure devotee, Lord Chaitanya calling him Pita, in such a ecstasy in Mayapur, just hearing one shloka, he went into ecstasy for some many hours. And he misjudging devotees. How to digest that? First, understand a human angle. A great devotees might externally appear to do mistakes and they might do mistakes. Still, yes, what do you call it? They are still the great souls. I'm not able to recollect a shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Even the one greatest fallen person, Sadhu Reva Samant, Apiche Sudracharo. Certainly, this Sudrachara is not applicable to such great devotees, but I'm just saying that they are still the perfect devotees, even though once or twice they might externally and maybe really do a mistake. We have to have that maturity. We have to have that maturity when we are in devotee association. Second, I learned from this pastimes of Pundrik Vidyanidhi, they still remain a perfect devotee. Judging others is a material attachment, which I already spoke. Be away from them. Here again, a very unique thing. Scripturally, Pandas were doing the wrong. Scripture says we should not put up starch cloths on the Lord. And Pandas were doing the wrong, as per the scriptures. But still, judging them is more wrong. Krishna Balaram did not come and give thrashing to Pandas. Hey, starch cloth dal raha hai mere ko. No. But they gave thrashing to one who were misjudging them. So, some mistakes like this starch cloth are negligible. They are mistakes on the external level, gross level. But mistakes on the subtle level are not. They have to be. So similarly, a mistake, sometimes we judge a devotee. Hey, he's attached to eating vada pav from the corner stall there. Every time he comes, he eats. Many times he too. Yeah, that's a mistake. But that's a very external mistake. like putting the starch cloth on the Lord. The real mistake is you are looking at them and judging them. That's a very severe, subtle mistake. This external mistake can be corrected or neglected, negligible. So, hey, he's attached. He always travels in Mercedes Benz. And he might be attached. Or he might not be. You don't know. But he might be, for discussion's sake. But you judging them is a very severe mistake. His attachments is a very negligible mistake. Lord can easily take care of his material attachments of Vada Pav and Mercedes and all these things. But these are very difficult. Be careful of that. So, judge yourself means oneself. If we see others, something inspiring, take it. And don't get depressed by seeing our condition. Krishna is merciful. And that song, Hum honge kamayab ek din. That's a material song, but still, पूरा है विश्वास. Not on us. हमारे हिस्से कामयाब नहीं होंगे. कामयाब होंगे कृष्ण की कृपा से. पर उसके ऊपर पूरा विश्वास है. And Hare Krishna, if we just continue with full humility without judging others, sincerely, Krishna will 100% guide us. I end here. It's already very, very late. I beg forgiveness from the authorities for breaking this principle, which was very nicely said by Balaram Shakti Prabhu yesterday. Don't misjudge me. Anyway, Hare Krishna. If any comments or questions, we can meet personally. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. जी आशीर्वाद दे रे बाबा. जज नाही केलं पाहिजे. हा नवीन डिवोटी आहे माझ्या समोर. तुम्ही आशीर्वाद द्या आम्हाला.